Me and the cheerleader. Okay, this story is actually kind of insane, and honestly, this story will blow your minds off. But before we get into the story, I just want to quickly mention, make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already, because seriously, it means a lot when you guys do. And on top of that, did I mention that I'm currently live on Twitch? So make sure you guys click the link down in the description below and watch me live telling more of these crazy stories. And also, another crazy announcement as well. Make sure you guys do check out the Bubba channel for crazy IRL content with me and my Fortnite girlfriend. Yes, I said it, guys. Fortnite girlfriend. I know. Absolutely insane. So make sure you guys do check out the content on there and basically get to see my real life lifestyle. You guys will literally see these stories come to life. Like, holy cow. Anyways, guys, let's get straight into this crazy story. Yo, what is going on, you guys? My name's Bubba, and welcome back to another insane story. So this story, funny enough, takes place back when I was in high school. And back when I was in high school, this was like my grade 11 year, and I was just getting into sports. Now, I'm not gonna lie, me being in grade 11 and trying to get into a sport was not the smartest idea. Because at first I was thinking badminton, but that wasn't really considered a manly sport in my high school. Don't get me wrong, I think badminton's cool, but like I said, in my high school, it wasn't considered manly. And even though I really wanted to join the basketball team, I really wasn't that tall back in high school. Like, I was only like 5'5". So I decided to do the one risk that I didn't think I could do. I joined the rugby team. Now, I know you guys are thinking, what is rugby? Rugby is basically a British sport, an English sport. It's more like football, but a bit more rough, if that makes sense. I don't know. You guys could correct me down in the comments, but basically, I played rugby. And rugby was not really like the best sport for me to play. Because I'm not gonna lie, back when I was in high school, I wasn't really like big. You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't, you know, heavyweight. I wasn't fat. I wasn't what you would say a person that you would usually see on the field. So I remember I went to go play rugby, and I basically tried out. And even if you try out, the rugby team was desperate for players, so they ended up just bringing me in anyway. And I was playing with them. And I remember as I started playing rugby, I got my shorts on, got a jersey on, and we started playing. And as I started playing, I remember my high school had a cheerleading team. I know, it's crazy. We have a cheerleading team, but not a football team. It didn't make sense to me. But you know what? Rugby was basically our football, I guess, in a way. So going on, I remember I was playing rugby, and I was just playing with me and the guys. And I'm not gonna lie, all these guys were big, they were buff, they were rough, and they knew what they were doing. As for me, as a small little guy, I played left wing, and I basically just learned how to sprint. And knowing all my times of me having to run away from girls, cops, and dads, well, I kind of just got really good at it. So I remember I started sprinting every time, you know, grabbing the ball and running my way all the way to the end. And then one day, I remember the cheer team was cheering at the very end of the field while we were practicing. So I remember one time during practice, I decided to literally get the ball for one of our plays, and I sprinted to the end of the field. I literally sprinted, and when I made it to the end of the field, knowing it was only a 3-on-3, so it wasn't like that big of a deal, but I sprinted to the end of the field, and I remember when I got there, I slammed the ball, and then after that, I remember as I did that, there was a girl at the very end of the field who was in the cheer team staring me down. I remember she was looking at me, and I looked at her, and I'm like kind of like glazing into her eyes as she glazed into mine. And I'm not gonna lie, me, I don't have crazy eyes, so a girl staring into my eyes was kind of like a crazy deal for me. And I remember I kind of just walked up to her, and I was like, hey, like, how you doing? She looked at me, and she's like, nothing much. I'm just on the cheer team, just cheering right now. What are you doing? And I looked at her, and I go, oh, you know, just like practicing rugby, you know, cool stuff, gang gang. I didn't actually say gang gang, but you guys know what I mean. I was basically trying to strut my stuff. She ended up looking at me and laughing, and I remember other cheer girls came up to us, and she's like, oh my goodness, like, you're talking to Bubba, like, how you doing, Bubba? Like, what are you doing? And I'm like, you know, same old, practicing. And basically what I learned that day was that if you play a sport in high school, you automatically get like higher up in the cool people scale. Like, I was up on the charts. I think I brought myself from a 13 of being one of the coolest kids to like up to like a 7. It was unreal. So I remember I would always practice and go to rugby, but not to really practice, but to more impress the women. I know, kind of weird, but it was what it was. Until one day, I remember one time right after practice, as I go to the end of the field and pick up my bag, because I used to drop off my bag there where the cheer girls would always cheer. A girl walked up to me, and she was like one of the hottest cheerleaders on the team. Like one of the like the main like high-end stuff. Like, I'm telling you guys, she was blonde, she was big cherry, she was a W. And I remember she looks at me and she says, hey, like, I was wondering, like, what's your snap? I end up looking at her, and I'm like, you want my snap, huh? Okay, yeah, I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you. So I ended up taking out my phone. I got hers. We exchanged Snapchats, and I went home that day. When I went home, I remember she was sending me snaps of her in front of the mirror and stuff. Typical girl snaps that usually they send. And I'm just like, oh, it's fire. You know, that's cool. As for me, I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't really doing anything else manly. Like, usually guys would be hitting the gym trying to get their next bulk. As for me, I was playing Black Ops 2. I'm not gonna lie, I was playing Call of Duty. Like, that was my go-to place to, like, you know, relax and be on my own. And then I remember she ends up sending me another snap of her literally bending over on her counter saying, what you up to? Now at that point I was freaking out. I'm like, and there was no way I was gonna send her a picture of half my face wearing a headset. So I remember I went outside to my backyard, and I basically grabbed my rugby ball and put it on the ground saying, oh, just practicing, what about you? Yeah, I definitely was not practicing in my sweatpants, but you know, it is what it is. She ends up saying, oh, like nothing, just like, you know, getting ready for our cheer practice and stuff like that. And basically one thing led to another. She ended up sending me her number. Now that was a way bigger step up than just a Snapchat, because usually Snapchat's like first base, then like number is second base, and then doing the devil's tango is like third base. Okay, like that's the way I usually did things back in high school. So I remember the next day of that happening, I remember I ended up going to school and I ended up, you know, walking up to her and just basically talking to her and hanging out with her. A lot of people in my rugby team were kind of like being like, yo, like that's kind of weird, bro. Like you joined the team just to get girls. Like what the heck, dude? But me being a lady slayer, I honestly didn't care. Going on though, I remember a lot of the cheer girls were talking about me and this cheerleader, and a lot of the rugby boys were talking about me and this cheerleader. And in a way, it kind of brought us all together. As weird as it is, and no, I'm not saying this in like a high school musical number, but like we're all in this together is what we really realized. I know, really cringy, but still, we all kind of got together. We started like hanging out and stuff. And then after that, I remember one of the cheer girls walked up to me and all the guys during rugby practice and said, hey, like, so you guys are all invited to like hang out for this like bonfire we're having outside the lake tomorrow. If you guys want to come, like just go ahead and come, and then yeah, just come hang out. I was like freaking out. I'm like, oh, bet, like that's fire. Okay, a bonfire. I love fires. So I remember all the guys were hyped up. We're all going like ooh, 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 as like crazy animals do on the field usually. And then after that, I remember that day I went home, I put on some nice pants. Well, pants I didn't mind getting dirty, and a shirt on and hoodie, and basically went over there. When I started heading for the bonfire, I remember I saw a lot of people there. Like there was more than just the cheer team there. And when I got there, I remember seeing the hottest cheerleader that originally got my Snapchat and was like kind of flirting with me. So I walk up to her. I'm like, hey girl, how you doing? I remember she puts her arm around me. She's like, let's go have fun. And basically, I'm not gonna lie, things got a little intense, but I'm not okay. You guys wanted the next part of me and the cheerleader, and here it is. You guys wanted it bad enough to the point where you guys were literally typing it down in the comments saying we need juicy part 2. Juicy part 2? I literally said it gets intense, not juicy. But at the same time, who knows? I mean, you guys are the ones who get to decide what these stories are like. And anyways, let's continue on with the story. But before I do continue on with it, obviously though, make sure you guys do leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already, because seriously, it means a lot when you guys do. And on top of that, did I mention that I'm currently live on Twitch streaming and playing all your favorite games, and at the same time telling you guys these amazing stories that you guys get to hear every day. Yes, literally every day. I can't believe we're daily uploading on this channel now. Anyways, other than that, let's get straight into it. Yo, what is going on, you guys? My name is Bubba, and welcome back to another crazy story. So today's story that I'm gonna be telling you guys is basically the second part of me and the cheerleader. If you guys haven't seen that story originally, well, I highly advise you guys go on the YouTube channel Bubba Streams and watch the first part of it. If you guys haven't seen it, then the story won't really make sense to you of how it led up to here. But at the same time, if you guys have watched it, well, you guys are in for a juicy treat. Yeah, that's right, juicy. I like that word. I'm gonna start using it more. But anyways, going on, I remember when I was at the bonfire and this girl had her arm around me, the hottest cheerleader in our school. I was kind of panicking. I was like, oh man, like I'm already getting straight into it. Like, let's go, baby. That was in my mind at least. And I remember seeing all the rugby boys that were also at the party or at the bonfire kind of like looking at me going like, ooh, 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 ooh. Because, you know, they're hyped up as well for me. I don't know. It's like a bro thing to do, I guess. It's somehow in the bro code. I have no idea. But going on though, when she told me, let's go have fun, I didn't really know what she meant. But then she started grabbing me basically and basically started dragging me away from the bonfire. As I was getting dragged away though, one of her friends ended up coming up to us and saying, excuse me, what are you doing, Bubba? I said nothing. I wasn't doing anything. I said, oh, nothing. Like she's like kind of out of it, I guess. So I'm kind of like, you know, just kind of standing here. I don't know. I didn't know how to explain to her that her friend literally dragged me out towards the bushes. I had no idea what to say. And not to mention, it looked really bad on my part, but I mean, I can't blame her for what she saw. Anyways, going on though, she was like, okay, like here, come with me. So basically she takes her friend and walks away, and I just walk back to the rugby boys, and all the boys are like, ooh, he got blocked, get wrecked, whatever that meant. I don't know. I didn't really care. I kind of just went on with it and just, you know, enjoyed the bonfire that was happening until like 2 hours later. The cheerleader, the hottest cheerleader, ended up walking back up to me saying, hey Bubba, like, can I like talk to you for a second? I told her sure. So I stood up and I went to her and I basically talked to her. She told me, hey, like, I just want to apologize. Like, my friend should have came in the way and stuff. Like, I don't know why she did that. And I looked at her and I'm like, well, I mean, she's just there to protect you. You know, girls do that. Like, I don't blame her at all. And after that, she comes closer to me. She's like, yeah, but like, you do realize like, I'm not even like wasted or anything, right? Like, I haven't even started drinking yet. I looked at her and I'm like, what do you mean? Like, you seem so out of it. And then she told me, oh, like, I just pretend because like, I don't actually like drinking. I'm more like the type of person just kind of do the devil's tango. Like, I'm not really much of a drinker or smoker anyway. Huh? Is what I told her, because I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of out of it at that point because I do drink. By the way, don't underage drink. Drinking's not good underage. Don't do it. YouTube, don't demonetize me. Anyways, going on though. I remember basically she said that to me and I kind of was like, so you pretend to be drunk? And then she gives me her glass that was supposed to have alcohol in it, but in reality, it just had water. I remember drinking it and it was literally water. So either I was really out of it or really wasted, or in reality, she was actually just drinking water the whole time. I remember I looked at her and I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I mean, that makes sense, I guess. And then she told me, yeah, so like, just come with me. I was so wasted. I'm not gonna lie. I was pretty wasted at that moment. And I remember she grabbed me by my arm and she basically dragged me into the woods. And basically she got closer to me and closer and said, you know, like, I'm not gonna lie, like, out of all the rugby boys, like, you're one of the hottest boys ever. Thanks, is what I told her. I don't know. I said it in the most weirdest and awkwardest way. And basically me and her, we ended up doing the Devil's Tango for like 20 minutes. I remember after 20 minutes was up, me and her, we ended up like, you know, getting ready and we went back to the bonfire, but everyone saw us enter into the bonfire and everyone was like, ooh, he's back with the cheerleader. Basically, they all watched us enter in. It was like being on stage for like, I don't know, a Broadway show. It was just pure embarrassment. I remember I stood there and I'm like, okay, this is just getting really awkward. And me, I just wanted to go home. So I remember I ended up getting my backpack and I basically got everything I needed and basically went to my car and locked it. I did not drive it home knowing I was really out of it and wasted. And by the way, don't drink and drive. It's never a good idea. And basically walked 20 minutes home and basically slept. I remember the next morning, I had like a major headache and I was just so out of it. I was like, oh, my head. And basically, I remember I picked up my phone and when I picked it up, I saw that there was a bunch of messages, but these weren't no normal messages. They were all on my Instagram and they were all a bunch of chicks following me that were cheerleaders at my school. And they were all DMing me saying, hey, Bubba. Hi, Bubba. Like, what are you doing today? Hey, I was wondering if you like wanted to hang out. Hey, do you want to like come over today? Like, please? Bruh, you're telling me just because I did the Devil's Tango with the hottest cheerleader, now you all want some? It made no sense to me until, let's just say, later on throughout the day. I remember I ended up getting ready, went to school, and when I got to school, all the rugby boys were coming up to me saying, bro, like, you really did it, bro. Like, good stuff, man. Yeah, dab me up, bro. Like, good job. Like, they're all dabbing me up as if I like got like a Guinness World Record for something. I have no idea why they were dabbing me up. And I remember throughout the whole entire school day, randomly, these chicks that were cheerleaders would walk up to me saying, hey, Bubba, like, what are you doing? Hey, like, do you want to like walk to class with me? As if I somehow became more popular than I already was. I don't know. It made no sense to me. And to be honest, at this moment, I was just kind of dazed out of my mind. Like, I don't know. For some reason, when things like this happen to me, I kind of just ignored it and basically just pretend I don't know what's going on at all until the most insane thing happened, where basically I remember the girl that ended up doing the Devil's Tango with at the bonfire, the hottest cheerleader, let's just say, ended up walking up to me saying, hey, like, can I talk to you for a second? And obviously I'll talk to her because she's like, you know, we already did it, so it made sense. She pulls me aside and pulls me into the science classroom and says, hey, like, so listen, like, everyone wants a piece of you now, and like, I don't know why, but like, I think I might have said something yesterday that kind of like made them all want you. And then I asked her, I'm like, what'd you say? Like, what in the world could you possibly do? And then she said, oh, like, I told everyone that you had the biggest eggplant out of all the boys. What is what I told her? Like, I had no idea what she was talking about. I don't even want to know what she's talking about, because for her to know that information, she must have done all the rugby. Oh my god. You know what? It doesn't matter. Going on with the story though, I remember she told me, hey, so listen, all the cheerleaders are having a private party at like my place tomorrow, and like, you know, I was wondering like if you want to go, but the thing is that you can't bring any of the rugby boys. It just has to be you. Huh? Is what I told her. And basically she told me that she was inviting me to a secret private cheerleading girl party, or a secret private cheer party. I don't know. She worded it in the most weirdest way possible to a point where it was really cringe in my mind. But yeah, let's say I was invited to an all girls cheerleading party. Yeah. You know what? I don't know. The story gets weirder and weirder, but at the same time though, this story is getting too long right now. So you know what? I hate to do this to you guys, but you guys have to wait for the third part of the story. If you guys did enjoy this part, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And if you guys want me to finish the story and see how intense it gets at the party, let's just say, or the cheerleader party. Okay, so a lot of you guys wanted the last part of me and my cheerleader, and one thing I want to do is apologize for making this into 3 parts. Like, in my mind, I thought part parts were really good, but it seems like you guys were like, oh, Bubba, just post like 15-minute stories, bro. Like, we don't need the parts. Like, come on, man. And honestly, knowing that really makes me feel like you guys are right, and I apologize. And like I said in my earlier videos, I won't be doing parts anymore. So this week, I'll be getting rid of all the parts of every story I ever made parts for. So if there's any parts you guys specifically want to see that I made on this channel, well, just comment it down below. I'll make sure to get rid of it as soon as possible. But today's story is an insane one, and obviously, if you guys haven't seen the last 2 parts of me and my cheerleader, I highly advise you guys go and seeing it, so it'll make sense to what it came to. Other than that, though, like I usually say, make sure you guys leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already, and let's get straight into this crazy story. Yo, what is going on, you guys? My name is Bubba, and welcome back to me and my cheerleader part 3. So basically, last where we ended off was basically me going to the bonfire, and the next day, a cheerleader, the hottest cheerleader in the school, inviting me to a party that was going down. But this was no ordinary party. This was the all-girls cheerleading party. Now, I don't think you guys understand what this means. This literally means that, you know, a bunch of cheerleaders and one guy. Now, I know there's a term for like that one girl that did the entire football team, and like, you know, there's like a whole joke on that, but this is literally like the guy version, the guy who got the whole cheerleading team. Now, most guys would dab me up and be like, hey, good stuff, brother, but I'm gonna be honest, what ended up happening at that cheerleading party was literally insane. So I remember after I got the invite from the girl saying, hey, like, I'm inviting you to like a really secret like all girls like cheer party, just like don't tell any of the rugby boys. I remember I was excited, I was super hyped up, and I really wanted to go to this, but obviously I had to keep it a secret. So what I did was I literally kept my phone in my pocket, and every time she messaged me, I'd make sure that none of the rugby boys were around me or in my classroom and check it. And every time she would like message me about it, she would tell me details of things that were gonna go down. For example, she wanted me to bring popcorn, a bit of booze, which, you know, I don't promote underage drinking. Don't underage drink, kids. And basically get everything ready for, as usual, like a normal party. In my head, I'm thinking, how many girls are gonna come to this? In my mind, I was thinking maybe 3 or 4, you know, because there wasn't that many girls on the cheer team. At least that's what I thought. But then I remember the day of the party, I went home and I basically got everything ready. I picked up some booze that I stole in my dad's liquor closet, and went to the dollar store and picked up a whole box of popcorn, knowing that she has a microwave. I could just microwave a piece of cake. So once I got all the things, I ended up driving my car all the way down there. And when I got there, I remember I ended up seeing outside, and there was a lot of Jeeps outside. I don't know what it is with girls and Jeeps, but there was like 3 different Jeeps back there already parked. And I remember there was also like some really nice like Porsche. I don't know, like I guess like, you know, daddy's money. I have no idea. So I remember I ended up parking my car kind of like on the side of the street because I didn't want to, you know, go in there with my Toyota Celica GT. Still a banger car, by the way, but yeah. Actually, if you guys want to see a picture of it, follow me on Instagram. You guys will go check it out. Actually, I drive a Jaguar now, funny enough, but sorry, enough about me. Back to the story. So I remember basically I parked my car on the side of the street, and when I got out of the car, I remember I started walking towards the doorstep. When I got to the doorstep, I remember I looked in the side of the window to see who's actually in there, and oh my goodness, you guys have no idea when I say this, but there were like over like 20 girls in there, like 20 of them. I have no idea why. It made no sense to me, and in my head I'm thinking, should I really be here right now? So I remember I knocked on the door, and when I knocked on the doors, one of the girls that was wearing like a see-through like cardigan, I don't know idea, like it was some kind of see-through outfit, literally opens the door and says, oh hey Baba, like oh my goodness, like you actually came, like oh my goodness. She was literally telling me that you were coming, and like I didn't know you were coming, but like you ended up coming, so like oh my goodness, like you're here, let's come. I'm like, what? And she's like, never mind, just come in. And then she lets me like basically walk in, and when I walked in, I remember I was looking around, and I'm like, dude, what is going on here? And all the girls when I walked in were staring me down like they've never seen a guy before. Like I didn't even know there was this many girls on the cheer team. And I remember I walked up to the hot cheerleader that asked me to come to this party, and I was like, yo, like, hey, I'm here, I brought everything you want, and it's in my backpack. And she's like, oh, like that's great, oh my goodness, just put your bag in the kitchen, and then like I want to talk to you for a second. I said sure. So when I did, I, you know, walked upstairs with her, and I instantly talked to her, and I told her, I'm like, hey, like there's a lot of people here. She said, oh yeah, so like this secret party is basically like our future sorority, like basically it's all the girls that are going to the same university of us, so you already know, like we all want to be in like the same group, and we're kind of like making like traditions early, and let's just say you're part of our new tradition. What? Part of our what? Wait, what? Part of your new tradition? Are you serious right now? I was so confused, and I remember I was looking at her, I'm like, okay, like what is tradition? She looks at me from like my eyes all the way down to my feet, like basically glancing down at me as if she was checking me out, and she's like, oh, you'll see, Bubba, like don't worry about it. And me, I'm just standing there like, oh god. I knew something wrong was gonna happen. I knew something bad was gonna happen. But once we walked down the stairs, me and her, she ended up screaming, all right ladies, let's have a movie night. And I remember she literally grabbed my hand and dragged me all the way to the living room, and they basically had like blankets and everything set up, and I basically sat in the middle of the ground of the couch, and all the girls were surrounding me. I swear I really wanted to take a cool selfie at this moment and show you guys this, and I wish I did, but sadly I didn't, because well, I was panicking inside and out like crazy. Like, have you guys ever seen the movie Inside Out, as like, you know, like the gray like freak out one that like freaks out all the time? That's basically my entire emotion in my head the whole entire time, and I didn't know what to think. So I remember as I was panicking, dude, these girls were like grabbing grabbing onto my leg. They were kind of getting close to me. One of them wrapped their arms around my arm, and it was like, what do I do? I remember I kept glancing at the chick that invited me, and she realized that I was uncomfortable. And she looked at me and she's like, Baba, like, can I just talk to you for a second? I'm like, yeah, sure. She pulls me aside and she's like, listen, I thought you were a slayer. Literally everyone in our school thinks like you're the ultimate F-boy, and right now you're really not showing it. So like, man up, hang out with some girls, and be confident, because I didn't invite you for no reason. Damn, okay, like, sheesh. Like, chill out. It's not like you're paying me to be here. Like, seriously, I was so confused on why she was so upset with me, but I ended up just telling her, oh yeah, like, I got you. Like, I got you. I can slay it up a little bit. And she's like, perfect. And then she ended up grabbing my eggplant and then pushing me off. Yeah, things were really going down at this point. I didn't know what to think. So I remember I ended up going back into the living room, hanging out with all the chicks, and they were watching some like chick flick. I don't know. Apparently girls like watching movies about a really nice Chad, and this Chad ends up like kidnapping a girl, and then like he gives her like 365 days to fall. I have no idea, dude. It just makes no sense, and it was just weird at Champ Andy. But anyways, I'm just kind of like chilling there the entire time until the worst of the worst ended up happening. The movie ended, and when the movie ended, they all looked at me and they're like, girls, is it time? Oh my goodness, I think it's time. Oh my goodness, let's do this. Y'all look at me. They all sit around in a circle and they're like, okay, Baba, you're gonna do our tradition because we don't like F-boys, but you're like the ultimate F-boy in our school right now. So we're giving you a gift and a curse. What do you mean a gift and a curse? Is what I said afterwards, because I didn't know what like they meant. And then after that, I remember, dude, it was so bad because one of the girls walked up to me and said, take it off, like right now. Take what off? I told her. And she's like, I said, take it off. She ends up pantsing me in front of all the chicks. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, what? And she's like, you need to be punished. And then after that, she instantly just takes off everything I had on and basically makes me literally run around the house like with nothing on while these girls are chasing me, trying to literally hurt me. Like one girl almost bit me, literally bit me. I don't know what this kind of tradition was that they're trying to make for the sorority, but I did not want to be part of it anymore. So they were chasing me all around the house, and I remember I was panicking. I jumped on beds. I jumped on couches. I did the whole shebang. It got to the point where I literally stood on the table and hit my head on like the swinging lamp that they have usually at dinner tables that they have. I don't know. It was weird. And I remember I basically grabbed my clothes. I ran out of the house with literally nothing on. I sat in my car, but nothing on, and basically drove. I drove all the way home as fast as I could. These girls were messaging my phone left and right, because I'm not gonna lie, I did do the devil's tango with a lot of them already. So a lot of them have seen me, you know, with nothing on. So it wasn't that embarrassing. But for all the ugly chicks in that cheerleading team that got to see it, I should have gotten paid. I don't know. Basically, they all like started messaging me, freaking out and stuff about me and stuff. And you know, I just was so uncomfortable. I felt like, you know, I was in a way like destroyed. I don't know. I got embarrassed. Okay, it was embarrassing. Anyways, going on with that though, knowing that just happened, I remember when I got home, I parked my car, and when I got out of my car, my dad literally was parking right behind me, and he sees me coming out of the car with nothing on. And he's like, Baba, what are you doing out of the car with nothing on? What are you doing? Are you drunk? Are you brain dead? And I'm like, no, Dad, like, trust me, like, it's not what it is. And I started putting my clothes on in front of him, and he's like, okay, like, go inside. We'll talk about it inside. I need to teach you how to become a real man. Great. Another person that wanted me to be a man. I don't know. Long story short is, don't trust a lot of girls, because a lot of girls will make you do the wrong thing. And, you know, long story short, just be careful what you do and who you hang out with and what parties you get invited to. Be safe, guys, out there. Anyways, that's basically it for today's story. Me and my cheerleader. Make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. And like I always say, follow for more embarrassing stories. All right, peace out, guys.
My name is Baba. I'm still on top of the world. Devils taking with your mother. Of course, let's go. Should I make it a story? Let's click record. Got that TikTok with 2 mil hit different with some more. She said she loved me. She kept. Should I exit for sure? I got 100K for my